Hello, we're doing a little more testing this evening. We're going to get started and I'll kind of tell you what's going on. I am doing a FSD 1422 versus 14221. I'm doing a short loop with 3 legs, starting with a hardware 4 or AI4 Model Y with 1422. So this is not the 221 that I've been testing. This is 1422. And how I'm going to do this is each of the 3 legs, I'm going to first do a drive in this car, and then I'm going to do a drive in the 14221, unprotected left here in the dark, no problem. And then I will divide it up in the video where you see the first leg of 1422 and then the first leg of 14221, and then I'll rotate between the vehicles. Hopefully that's not too confusing for you or for me to edit. But here we go. I just wanted to kind of do a comparison. One other note is this evening we've had this front blow through, and on our way home from town after running some errands, there was leaves, trash, everything you could imagine blowing all over the road, and the car was reacting to it kind of in a very micro way, not a way where you need to take over. And so it's still a little bit, man, that person just ran that red light. Um, it's still very windy, but I think a lot of that stuff's blown off. But maybe we'll see. I chose a route that might have some leaves or might have some debris. But I think we had some 50-mile-an-hour gusting winds. It was really, really powerful, and you could really feel it on the highway too. The stress level. How much FSD reduces the stress level in those situations is huge. But overall, these are both great builds, but there is definitely a nuance difference in the 0.1 branch, and we'll see if we can, hopefully we can see some of those differences on these drives. I should mention that I'm going to be in hurry mode. That car just turned from the middle lane. Wow. I'm going to be on hurry mode the whole time on both of these. We'll say hurry mode seems a little faster on the 0.1, but that's just what I've noticed. But we'll see on the see when we pick it up on the next drive. 55-mile-an-hour speed limit through here. I really wish I would have had the camera earlier. There were just leaves, and we've had such a mild, really warm, I guess, fall, that there's still leaves on the trees here, and usually they'd be all on the ground, but they were all blowing off the trees, and it was almost like snow. There were so many leaves earlier, and most of that appears to be gone. It's not quite as windy as it was earlier either. Speeds right at the speed limit, 55 miles an hour. This road is, I guess that's about as fast as it wants to go on this road for whatever reason. You would think it would maybe bump it up to 60 since the speed limit's 55 in hurry mode, but it's not. There's something about this version that almost just feels like it's white knuckling the wheel. Like it just seems very tense, even when going straight and making little corrections, that is smoothed out with the 0.1 release. We'll see if I'm describing that I'm kind of just describing how I feel because I know you can't see it in the camera. It feels fine, and it could be a Model Y, Model 3, especially since the Model 3 is a Highland, has the newer suspension and all that, and this is a legacy Model Y. But overall, it feels just a little bit, definitely feels more refined on the point 0.1 version. But also, they've paused it. It hasn't gone wide, so I don't know if they're cooking up something even better or if they found something that they didn't like with that point 0.1 release when they looked at the total data from everyone. Got a car here that slowed us down. This first leg's really just going to be a little more about speed control, I would say, and not really a whole lot of turns. I'm hoping that second leg we can get a little bit of a stop sign behavior and turning, and we'll be able to see it park hopefully at all three destinations. 50 mile an hour now, speed limit. It almost seems like it's whenever it just looks, it's seeing the road and it feels like this is about the right speed, 53, regardless of the speed limit. Since the speed limit is within range, it's going to go that speed. Meaning if it was speed limit was 40, it wouldn't go this fast, but even if it was 60, it would still go this speed. This route is kind of interesting because um, that road back there goes straight to our destination, but it decided to come up here and turn right and then left instead of just go straight through. All right, yielding here. All right, it's got to get over all the way over to the left. No problem. Got an unprotected left. Now, I will say this first place I selected is a pretty busy restaurant. I figured Sunday night wouldn't be too bad. It's a great barbecue restaurant. If any of y'all are ever in McKinney, Texas, or Frisco, Texas, Hutchins Barbecue. Gives you kind of the quality of those ones you have to stand in line for and are out of food by 2, but it's not. They're open all day. You usually don't run out, although they do sometimes. Okay, so we're going to turn in here. Hopefully there's a spot to park. They also have a drive-through. Hopefully it doesn't turn into there. And these are angled spots, so it's going to pull in forward. All right, that was a simple first leg. Okay, here we are, ready to start leg 1 in the AI4 Model 3 with 14221. I literally just did this, so there is a little bit of a time difference with traffic, but shouldn't be too much different. I jumped out of one car into the other. I got the camera set up in both, so there's really not a whole lot of time between the two. Unprotected left. It didn't like that car right there. It looked like it slowed down, maybe to turn, and then decided to keep going, so it didn't want to pull out in front of him. Good amount of cars coming from the left now. Wide open from the right. This gap right here is the gap I would take, but FSD is a little more conservative than I am. It's taking a little while to get out of here. Wide open from the left, and here we are. So we're still in hurry mode. We're going to do that, like I had mentioned before, the whole trip for both, all three legs for both vehicles. .50-mile-an-hour speed limit. I just feel like the 0.1 version is just a little faster in the profile. We're going 60. I'd have to see. It just feels faster. Felt faster getting to that location, going through my neighborhood. Just everything felt faster. And so it seems like, and not just in hurry, but if you're in standard mode, it feels faster too on roads like neighborhood roads and stuff like that. Highway is about the same. But that's why we're testing this, because the proof's going to be in the video. I wonder if there is a difference in the Model 3 and Model Y as far as the model, the FSD model. There's got to be a slight difference. The Model Ys kind of took the left turn right there, just over here, a little harsher than I remember. Just noticeable. Just those little things you might not see in the video. Again, I'm going to try to bring them up as much as possible. Yeah, I wonder if there's a difference in the model. The Model Y is taller for sure. It's about at least 6 inches taller, maybe a little taller than that. I think all four corners are pretty similar. Might be a little bigger, the Model Y, a little longer. I had mentioned one of the things I immediately noticed is that the matrix headlights on the Model Y, and maybe again from what I just said, because it sits up higher, I feel like they're better. Gives you a much bigger, it's painting a much bigger picture of light. Speed limit again is 55. Hurry mode. We'll see if it holds that 55. I think we might have seen 56 in the Model Y. Seems to be acting exactly the same. There's 57. I don't know if we got up to 57. Maybe we did. I really wish I could say that these two models basically feel the same, because I have a feeling by the time this video is over, that's what it's going to look like. But this version has refinement. It's just like a little sharper vision for what's going on. Doesn't react as harshly, and I'm just talking in a very micro way. It just seems very confident, like it knows what it's doing, it knows what's happening. I'm extremely curious at what's coming next. The fact that they've paused the rollout of this version and it's so great, it just makes no sense. I don't think in the history of it just doesn't make sense from all the different rollouts that they've done over the last couple of years that I've been following it closely. Again, I'm not part of early access. I just happened to get this version basically right after they did. I mean, within 12 hours of early access, I was on this small second wave. When it came to a stop at that red light, I had mentioned the 14.22 really did help. I think I had mentioned that. I think that's where it was. Or maybe it was actually 2.1.25 where they improved the braking. The braking smoothness on those last minute brake really considers the entire distance you need to stop and uses every inch of it to make it as smooth as possible. Also, one correction I said a second ago, early access, I'm not part of early access. However, I am in Texas, and just about everyone with an AI4 car in Texas was able to join this kind of faux early access 6 or 9 months ago. And from my understanding, about a month ago, just about everybody lost that. Like it just went away on the app and you couldn't see it. Well, not for me. It still says early access on the Model Y on my app. It went away on the Model 3, this vehicle, but on the Model Y, it still shows early access on my app. So I don't know what that means. I don't think it means anything. I would really love to be part of the early access program. I'm really enjoying doing these videos, editing these videos, and I also enjoy watching other people's videos and seeing the different experiences that everyone has. So to the Tesla AI team, I would really love to be considered to be an early access FSD driver. I feel like that my focus on highway driving is something that I haven't seen anyone else do, and that's why I do a lot of highway driving, because it seems to me to be the most. It's just so unique. You're interacting with other cars the whole time. There's no rules. The rules are speed and lanes, but it's really just staying away from all these other cars. That car right there was approaching out, and it didn't even phase FSD. Anyway, here we are at Hutchins. There's definitely less people here. So I might have given the 221 a little easier ride. All right, we're going to go to the second phase of the trip. Okay, now we're starting the second leg in the AI4 model, AI4 Model Y with 14.2.2, FSD version 14.2.2. All right, got a pedestrian here getting in his car. The nuances of these versions are so close, it's going to be really hard. When you drive them, hundreds of miles a week, you really notice them. It's just sometimes it's kind of hard to find the perfect, scenario to test because you have such a small, time versus the hundreds of miles when you're driving through the week and you notice certain things that are different. But overall, they're both versions are very good. This would be the shortest leg, the second leg. Looks like a delivery driver here. Yep, it's going to go for it. I thought it might wait um, for those other cars or for that other car to come, but it didn't. It decided it had enough time. And I'll be honest with you, the behavior of stop signs and this kind of driving, really, I haven't noticed much difference in these two versions, but I think parking is definitely even a little bit better on the 0.1 version, and it seems to pull into my driveway at home a little bit better, but also sometimes it tries to back in, and that just doesn't work in my driveway. So I have to stop it from doing that. I feel like back there while I was talking, it might have reacted to some leaves. Not sure. I'll have to look at the video for that. Someone walking their dog there. Earlier, when I noticed some reaction to leaves, it was in this vehicle, the 14.2.2 version of FSD, and it was almost doing like very light brake tapping, almost like it was thinking just for a second if those leaves were a problem, but nothing. It wasn't like locking up the brakes. It probably wasn't even really slowing down all that much. It almost just it was like snow. It was really bizarre. Really wish I would have had my camera and filmed it. It actually was, and there's bags blowing around, and it was reacting to plastic bags. There was also this thing in the road. I don't know what it was. It might have been a piece of a car, like a plastic paneling part of a car that it reacted to and tried to go around, but it was a great situation because it probably wasn't gonna hurt the car to run over it. So it reacted a little bit, but it did not overreact to go into the another lane, which could have been slightly dangerous with other cars. So it wound up just running over it. But I was really encouraged by that behavior because I'm always scared that it's going to try to avoid a freaking grocery bag in the road and go and make a dangerous situation for another driver. But that just kind of helps show you it's considering everything um, whenever it makes those moves, and it didn't try to stop to avoid it. It just ran over it, and it was significant. It was the right thing to do, even if it would have damaged the car. The right thing to do would have been to run over it, because that would have been the least amount of damage, or the safest thing to do. All right, so we're pulling up to our second destination here. Actually, never been here from the back, so we'll see how it does with the parking. It's another restaurant. I think it sees what it wants to do. Yep, just pull in right here. There's a truck, the decal on it that says Chewy Girl. Interesting. All right, so that is the end of leg 2 for version 14.2.2. Okay, starting in the Model 3, AI3 Model 3. Excuse me, AI4 Model 3, 14.2.2.1, second leg of the trip. The routing is a little different here. It's too bad. I'd like it to be the same, but there's no way I can change it. It's just less traffic, I guess. The only difference is it went out to the left, which you just saw. Went around that building, so it wasn't really anything eventful or anything challenging at all. This is just going straight. In fact, this might be more challenging in some ways because there's cars to navigate, parked cars on the road to navigate. There's something in the road right there. Looked like a cardboard box, like the bottom of a case of drinks. All right, here we go. Just the gentleness and the smoothness of this 0.1 version just seems better. I really wish I had 2 Model 3s or 2 Model Ys where I could compare. I feel like I'm comparing Fuji apples to Granny Smith apples, so I could compare the exact same apple with the different versions. But just feels a little bit better. So what's next? Is it going to be 14.2.2.2, or is it going to be 14.2.3? That's what I think it'll be, 14.2.3. I think the 10X larger model is going to be another month or two. Speed here is 30 miles an hour, or speed limit. Again, hurry mode. Feels like the speed's pretty similar. There are some leaves going across the road right there, but it wasn't while we were moving. I think I saw a post right before I came out to do this drive from Black Tesla saying that he is not seeing 14221 react to any leaves at all. So that's good. Earlier, those reactions I had, which were just little micro reactions, were on the other vehicle, the 1422. Nope, we had the green arrow. Coming up on our second stop, we'll see if the really make my evening if it parked behind that same truck and it was still there. What to say, Chewy girl? It's possible. Wasn't that long ago. Maybe about 40 minutes ago. 30 minutes ago. I think that truck is still there. That truck is still there, but it's doing something different. It's parking over here on the side, which I don't like. I don't mind it parking over here if there's no other place to park, but I'd like it to go towards the front of the building first. And we saw a little bit of this on my parking testing video. That was on this version. Is it parked in the side by the auto center at Walmart? So I actually like the way that 1422 parked better than this. So anyway, we're going to go on to leg 3. Okay, here we are on our last leg in the Model Y FSD version 14.2.2. This leg will be mostly highway. Let's see what we're doing here. So, yeah, it'll be mostly highway, and we'll see if really curious to see what happens on this version versus the 0.1 version, because that seems to be where a lot of things I've noticed are different. It seems where it seems more refined. Now, I apologize. I just did half of this third leg already once. And my memory is full on my camera, so I had to come back. Luckily, the Chewy Girl truck was still there, so I could park in the exact same spot. So we got 7 miles to the final destination. So we'll get a little bit of a highway drive. Not super long, but I didn't want these videos to get too crazy long since we're doing the loop twice. This will be pretty easy. I'm laughing because the one I just did was there was a lot of cars there and it took a while. So this is interesting behavior. So it thinks it's getting up on the highway right now. And you can see there's a little jog over to the left. Well, that's up there on the highway where you jog over to get on the highway. And it thinks it's there now, so it's a little confused. But then it reroutes and gets out of that left turn lane. I know that because it just did the exact same thing. We'll see if the other car does that with 14.2.2.1. Alright, coming up here on this intersection that has 3 left turn lanes, 2 only, and 1 straight or left turn. Luckily, yep, we're in one of the straight ones. Okay, we're accelerating pretty good. Get on the highway here. Speed limit on the highway is 70. Do have an 18-wheeler here on the left that we got to negotiate. Yep, it's accelerating really good right here. You get in front of that 18-wheeler. Really feel the wind. It's very windy out still. It's not as gusty, but just straight line north winds. We're going north. I feel like this truck next to me is trying to race me. He's in a dually pulling a tandem trailer, and he just sped up as soon as he saw us going faster than him. That's how the truck drivers are here in Texas. They want to let you know that they are the owners of the road. But he eventually backed down, probably looked down at his speedometer and realized it wasn't very safe to be driving 80 miles an hour pulling a trailer with 30-mile-an-hour winds. So we got 0.8 miles to the exit. It needs to be in the right lane. Well, it can actually... No, it needs to be in the right lane. But it wanted to pass this car. Pass this other car, I guess. Or is it going to slow down and get behind him? be in either of these right lanes to exit. So far, so good. I have nothing. One of the reasons I want to make this video is it just seems like there's not a whole lot of people out there that have the 14221 version, but I think a lot of people really wish that they had it, because people, the influencers that are making videos, and I'm not one of those. I'm just kind of doing this for fun, but I mean, they're talking about how great this version is, and it is great, but as you can see, 14.2.2 is also great. The point one does seem to polish some stuff out. It could just be a Model Y, Model 3 Highland thing too. But I mean, I haven't needed anywhere near an intervention. Just basically driving perfectly everywhere. This final destination is a car repair shop. It's after 8. I think they're closed. Tried to go there once to get a slow leak fixed on my tire, because they're also do tires, and they said they don't work on Teslas. I was like, well, even to change a tire. Doesn't bother me at all. If somebody doesn't want to touch my car, I don't want them anywhere near it. I do mainly, now I rotate my tires myself with one floor jack and one jack stand. Have it down. I wound up fixing that slow leak myself too, because it was a valve core. That was in an older car. Old Model 3. Okay, so we are... This isn't how I would normally go here, but I guess this works. Unprotected left here. It should go right there. You know, it does this sometimes. It definitely had, I think it had time to go. Maybe it's my own human eyes and my depth perception as I'm getting older, but that, I feel like when the car is far away, especially if it's pointed uphill, and so that light's shining really pretty bright, that the model really doesn't know how far they are, so it just will not go. But it's probably the best decision, because it was kind of a long intersection. Okay, so here we are. It's going to back in here. Oh, don't tell me it's going to pick the handicap spot. We were doing so good, guys. Well, if it's parked right into a handicap spot, unless it tries to pull back out somewhere else, you can actually see it right there. That's the sign. Anyway, all right. Next up will be leg 3 of the Model 3. Okay, we're going to start leg 3 in the Model 3 AI4 Model 3 14221. Because we're over here on the side instead of in the middle of the parking lot, the routes, I guess it's pretty close. Just exiting back here where we entered instead of up a little bit to the left. I'll have to check the video, but even this road right here, which is a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit, just feels like it's a little bit faster. Feels like it gets the speed a little bit faster. We'll see how it handles the highway turn in over here. It's actually a kind of a cool test because it tricks the model a little bit, the map data does. Looked like it avoided that little debris in the road there. Starting to feel some wind, a little more gusty wind, which is surprising since I'm in the smaller vehicle. So it really should go. Yeah. I really wonder about its ability to see how far cars are away at night. Because, I mean, that had plenty of time to go there. Is it going to make it? Look at that. Look at that. There's a confidence there. I mean, I did. You didn't see it. Maybe I could show it because I have it on film, but just the memory filled up. I had to delete some videos, but I did that move twice in the Model Y, and both times it might have been. It's probably because of traffic now that I think about it, but it did not come close to making that move to get on the highway. And it just got over here and just got up to speed very quickly. It did it on the other one too. It was just, it was clear. And that's what I'm talking about with the highway, with my thing earlier, what I was talking about is on the highway, it's just a blank canvas and there's just cars going everywhere. And so the situation's different every time. There's no two situations that are the same, ever. And that's where I think, honestly, FSD struggles the most. And a lot of people think say that the highway is where it's down, where they got this down. It could be unsupervised on the highway, and I don't see it. There's so many scenarios. I think they got a long way to go. I think when they take the drivers out of the robo-taxis, I don't think they'll be on the highway for a long time. Is that a challenge? Hopefully I'm wrong. You know, and it's a lot of it does have to do with the exiting behavior. But to me, it's just there's so many different scenarios, and it's all based on human drivers, not on if there's a green arrow here or a red arrow or whatever. It's just based on dealing with all these drivers. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully I'm communicating kind of how I feel about highway driving. It's also very fast. So when you're on the highway, every decision has to be made instantaneously. You know, if you're going, and maybe it's not as simple as I'm thinking, but if you're going 80 miles an hour, you have half as much time to make a decision than if you're going 40 miles an hour. That would result in, you know, possible you know, a possible crash or avoiding a crash. And maybe that's, you know, maybe that's why it's so darn safe on city streets and the highways. It's going to take a little longer. But I think they can resolve some of this. You know, if you're in chill mode and you kind of restrict it from getting over to the left side where it just hangs out over here on the right, of course, there are left exits too, then maybe it would be safer on the highway. I think it would definitely be safer. If you've watched a lot of my videos, I'm a broken record on this, but it would definitely be safer if it got over to exit quicker. So it's interesting. We've experienced less traffic in certain spots and more traffic on the highway. It's really hard to compare. But, you know, it just gets on the highway and it just goes and it's confident on this version. It doesn't feel that way in 14.2.2. And it's really hard for me to say that because when 14.2.2 came out, I would tell you it felt super confident. But these little point releases give you a little more. And I mentioned it just feels like if the other one's white knuckling it, this version's just very casual with the wheel, making nothing but just the perfect adjustments all the time. So it's just super smooth. Nothing you're going to be able to see on camera. It's just kind of a feeling you have when you're supervising the wheel, supervising the drive. It's going to be a long video, guys. Appreciate you hanging out with me. Just what we got, 1.3 miles. I don't know what's going on with parking with this version, though. Maybe that's why they haven't released it wide, because it's either perfect or it's complete regression. It's like a not in between. The earlier I was experienced in there's this place in this town in Anna where there's just a big parking lot where you can there's a Home Depot, there's a Walmart, there's a Chili's, there's a Starbucks, there's a Whataburger, there's a CVS. I mean, it's just huge. And let's see what it does with this emergency vehicle up here. It's going to want to get over. This car is going to let me over, I think. It's not actually going to get over. That's very smart. I like the fact that it just kept going. It didn't try to aggressively get over because there was no need to. But it was almost treating it like, and it might be a quarter-mile wide parking lot, just with all these businesses, and it was just treating it like one parking lot at some point. It just, once it parked at its second destination, it would not come out of parking mode. Anytime it went to another destination, it would just park immediately. And, you know, if it's 100 degrees outside or if it's 0 degrees outside, I mean, you're getting in your car and you're driving, you know, 100 yards to the next place. So you can't do that. It's got to completely erase its memory and go to the point on the map, and it just wasn't doing that on this version. I did not test that in 14.2.2. Maybe I need to. We're going back to the same handicap spot? Yep. No, it's parking beside it. Okay, so this is a little better. It's parking right beside the handicap spot. So that was better. Thank you for watching. This has been a lot of fun to do this. Learned a little bit about this, but overall, these two versions are both great. I think we got something coming soon, probably a 14.2.3. And, you know, hopefully that'll fix some of the parking lot issues and maybe go wide. Thank you for watching.